So it's been about a month since I've released a video, and there's a couple reasons for it. First and foremost, I have a lot of things I would love to do videos on and topics I would love to discuss, but lately I have felt so exhausted and scatterbrained with all the other work I'm already doing that I have been unable to focus for an entire recording session. I have started recording several different videos, and halfway through, I just get bored and start meandering and start talking about other random nonsense. And then I'm just like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not making this video right now. I will save it for another day, and then I delete the recording, and that's just been my life for the past month or two. Ruby Ice Queendom really kind of kicked me into gear, and I was basically forcing myself to do that video, even though I wasn't really into it. I did enjoy Ruby Ice Queendom. I stand by everything I said in that review. And if you actually watch that review, even though I kept saying, like, oh yeah, I liked this and I enjoyed it, there's a lot of negativity in that review too. And Ice Queendom absolutely deserved it. On that note, Ice Queendom having like a month-long hiatus after dropping its first three episodes all at once has not helped, because I keep setting time aside to make Ice Queendom reviews when those episodes come out, and then they just don't come out. I alluded to that in the video as well, where I kind of briefly mentioned its absolutely horrid release schedule. On top of that, I spent about 2 weeks working on rewriting my novel, which it's been a long time coming. My goal for this year is to still get it published. I actually sent it to another publisher after I was done with the rewrite, and then I went to Florida for a week, and now I'm back and trying to figure out what thing I want to talk about today, since today's my off day and I have time to create a short little media side slash update video. One thing that's been on my mind a lot lately, and this is actually tying in with my lack of output, is I am fine with my YouTube channel the way it is. I like the content I make. I like that I have the freedom to do the content I want to make whenever I want to make it. I never wanted to be a big YouTuber. I never want to be a big YouTuber. I barely even want to be a YouTuber, period. And I sleep soundly at night knowing that the only commitments I have on this channel are the Ruby podcast, because I love talking with the guys, and Quintessential Breakdown of Quintessential Quintuplets, which I recently did part 10 of, which means that there's only 4 Quint videos left before I've talked about that entire series. And there will be like maybe 1 or 2 to do like some random trivia from the wiki type stuff, stuff from like the author's notes or the manga release special pages or whatever that I just didn't talk about in the video proper. Like, there might be another video for that specifically. I don't know. I'm not really committed to the idea. And so, the subject I kind of have batting around in my head, I'm taking from a unique perspective, which is the idea of envy. You see this a lot, especially with drama channels and clout chasers, and I've never considered myself to be one of them. Like I said, I don't want to be a big YouTuber. I am fine with my 3,000 subscribers. I would like it if those 3,000 subscribers actually watch my videos, but yeah, I'm not sweating it because this isn't my job. This isn't what I actually do for a living. This is just a side hustle I do because I have fun doing it. And if I stop having fun doing it, I will stop doing YouTube, period. I've went on lengthy hiatuses before, and I'll likely go on lengthy hiatuses again. I'm not obliged to keep doing this. I'm doing this because I want to. And so it always astounds me that people who are already extremely well known and extremely successful and have made a lot of money doing what they do, finding it in themselves to be envious and bitter and jealous of other people's success. Something I haven't talked about a whole lot on this channel is music. I have a very diverse musical sensibility. There's not a whole lot of music that I actively dislike. And I take it almost like a song for song basis. There's artists I despise who still have a couple songs that I consider good. One of the many genres that I grew up listening to was, of course, rap. And part of rap tradition is the idea of the diss track. There's been some really good music coming from the whole diss track scene, but looking back on it now, it's just kind of ugly and pitiful, and also got two of the most talented people in the genre killed. I can't think of any other genre where, beef has gotten people shot, but, it happened. I was 3 or 4 when Tupac died, and then 4 or 5 when Biggie died. Like, that happened in my lifetime. And had it not happened, Tupac and Biggie both had enough talent and certainly enough force of personality to have actually matured and possibly had their best work ahead of them. Rap is a young man's game. Like, there's not very many rappers who age gracefully, not even super talented ones like Eminem. I don't think Eminem has aged gracefully at all, even though I love his earlier stuff. There's a lot of his later stuff that I do like. It's not the same. Tupac and Biggie, I think, could have been so much better had they squashed the beef, stopped just pissing and whining, and, stop getting each other killed. I bring this up because I see it almost every day across all mediums. Recently, the director of Gremlins took shots at The Mandalorian because Baby Yoda was a, quote, ripoff of Gizmo from Gremlins. You're already a multi-millionaire who directed a all-time beloved 80s classic. Get the fuck over yourself. Stop being jealous because Mandalorian is the current hotness. Maybe if you actually got off your ass and decided to make good movies again, people would be more on your side. Mandalorian with Baby Yoda / Grogu, that's scratching an itch that was scratched very thoroughly throughout the 80s with movies like Gremlins and E.T. that just hasn't been scratched in a while. That's one of the reasons why Mandalorian took off the way it did. I don't care what you think of The Mandalorian. I think it's just okay for the most part, which is honestly probably the most controversial opinion about The Mandalorian you can have. Because people either just love it to death or just despise it, and I don't really get either of those opinions. But that's just me. I'm kind of laid back like that. I very rarely have actual hot takes. Another big thing going on right now is the Rippaverse by Eric July. I already opined on both of these subjects on Twitter, by the way. And I'm just kind of lumping them in here from my perspective as someone who, doesn't really care about this sort of stuff. Because it's kind of an outsider's perspective. I'm not the biggest fan of Eric July. I've watched a lot of his videos. He's a really solid dude. I like what he has to say. I just don't think he has a lot to say. I've seen dozens of his videos at this point. They all kind of boil down to the same 2 or 3 talking points. And it gets a little, it's not something I'm gonna subscribe to because it's just, seeing one of his videos, you've effectively seen all of them. But I'm really glad that Rippaverse has been so successful already and is already outselling stuff at Marvel and DC despite not even being officially out yet, as far as I know. I'm not paying that close attention to the Eric July side of things. I'm more exposed to the other side of things, which is the backlash against Eric July, and the backlash against the backlash of Eric July is just so tiring. It's exhausting. It's more exhausting than being involved in politics right now. I have fun with my political discussions on Twitter and on Discord. I don't have fun with this culture war nonsense. I saw a tweet earlier today that was uh, referencing fucking Gamergate of all goddamn things, and it's as I'm recording this, and I'll probably cut this video together really quick and release it tonight. It is 7:25 in the morning, July 20th, 2022, as I record this. Why the fuck are people bringing up Gamergate in regards to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial? I don't really care much for celebrity drama. I never really have. But I was somewhat interested in the Johnny Depp case because of how messy it was. It was like watching a train wreck. And it was really cool to see justice be served. Asterisk, it worked out in Johnny Depp's favor for sure. The law is on his side, or was on his side, at least in that moment. And people just are so butthurt over it. But that's kind of beside the point. That's not really jealousy. I don't care. God damn it, I really don't care. Apparently care enough to make this video. Yeah, but I'm also just spitballing. I don't have a script. I just needed something to just do today because I have nothing else to do. My rewrite is done. I'm waiting on the Quintessential Quintuplets movie to be available stateside before I do any more Quint videos. Ruby Ice Queendom hasn't released a new episode yet. We're still in fucking Wano on One Piece. I'm not doing my big Wano review until we leave that goddamn island. So I'm just kind of, stuck in a rock and a hard place, and this is where I wound up, just kind of ranting for a good hot minute. The spotlight is big enough now. This kind of goes back to the rap thing, because one of the reasons why rap, even more so than other genres, was so competitive is because it was so kind of niche, and because the record industry had such a stranglehold on itself, so much so that it failed to adapt to the times, and which is why the record industry basically collapsed in the early 2000s and never recovered. People didn't have the disposable income to buy multiple albums. Some people did, obviously. I'm pretty sure we did when I was a kid. And we were pretty well off in the 90s, at least. But, a lot of less fortunate people didn't. And so their only exposure to music would be the radio or the one album that they would get a month, if that. And so that does drive a more competitive market, and when you're in competition, you do kind of tend to take shots at the competition because, you want to build yourself up, and an easy way to build yourself up is to just tear everyone down beneath you. That it's just a sad, pathetic reality of the situation. The spotlight now in the post-streaming era is so broad and so big that people can actually cherry pick what they want to listen to a lot better. Now it's not people's money you're competing for, it's people's time and attention you're competing for. And that is a lot less ugly, honestly, because your livelihood is not at stake. You're going to be successful no matter what. It's just a matter of, well, okay, I can't say no matter what. That's not. If you're talented, you can find success. If you want to be a writer, and if you're a good writer, you can get stuff published. You can do all the publishing yourself if you want, and you could find an audience. You might have to put in a little extra work compared to people who get published by major publishers. Which is why I'm trying the traditional publishing first, and if the 2 or 3 publishers I've already sent it in don't get back to me, I'm just going to self-publish. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I want this to be out. I want this to be done, and I want people to be able to read it and actually get that feedback so I can work on the next book. That's what I want out of this. The spotlight is so big now that we can now live in a world where Nas and Jay-Z can squash their beef and just both make good rap music. that wasn't really the situation throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Uh, Same thing with, movies. There's the stupid fucking fanboy war with Marvel and DC. And yes, it's been going on since the comics in the 50s and 60s. I'm well aware of that. But it's just so stupid now in this post-streaming era where you can have both Disney Plus and watch all the Marvel movies and HBO Max and watch all the DC movies for like $10 a month. Each maybe like $20 a month, and you can watch all of the videos so long as you have the time. And more people have different levels of free time, but I don't have to spend $20 on each movie now. I don't have to spend $20 buying DVDs. I don't have to spend a couple dollars every day to do Redbox a couple movies at a time. That's just not the world we live in anymore. No, we can pick our battle. We are a lot more equipped to pick our battles now than we ever have been, and it's thanks to the internet. It's one of the big upsides of the internet, I would say. But yeah, that's about all I have. Just do what you want. It's just if you want to be creative, just do it. Put in the work, put in the effort, obviously, but a failed product that is released will have more success than a masterpiece that never sees the light of day. That's my inspirational quote of, this year, honestly, and something that I'm really taking to heart with the stuff I'm working on. And, yeah, I've been going for almost 20 minutes now. Everyone have a nice day, and I'll see you whenever more pressing matters happen, I guess. Good night.